you say you are a superstar, then have no fear.
So, hello and welcome to episode 25 of the Loud Crowd podcast. We have a very special guest with us on tonight. So, without further ado, we're delighted to say that we have QPR defender and star player Jimmy Dunne in with us this evening to have a chat with the lads. So, thanks very much for coming on, Jimmy.
Oh,
really
thanks.
appreciate it, man.
Very special, very special. No, definitely support the lads. Thanks for having me. Bit of crack.
He
He looks a bit starstruck there, doesn't he?
Gone red, actually.
A few days at home, you were at you were up watching Dundalk and St. Pat's tonight.
Yeah, I watched Dundalk and St. Pat's there. That was good. And then the other night I watched Rock Celtic v Key Celtic.
Yeah.
And when Dan O'Mulligan was running around kicking lumps out of people, I was getting PTSD watching him. Yeah, good. Couple of days at home and then a little holiday and then back before you know pre-season in Spain, and that'll be tough. And going again, like pre-season number 9 or something is flying all by, like, you know.
Yeah.
Doesn't stop.
Mad, no.
Did you learn a thing or two from me watching me at the Rock the other night, Jimmy? No?
It's not
Didn't even
easy.
notice I was playing, did he?
Oh, you playing? What position were you playing?
I was forward, dropped in the midfield and then left mid. Wherever to keep me on, you know what I mean? No, I'm only messing. Sure, Eddie was in goals there as well.
I was too scared watching Dano. Like,
Yeah.
Few run-ins with Dan over the years, did you, when you were younger?
Yeah, brilliant. Like, I couldn't believe he's still out there running around after people. And he was giving a bit of lip to the dugout as well. Like, quality, it was unreal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, humble down the key.
Yeah.
yeah, it's brilliant.
So we'll kick off anyway,
Yeah.
Jimmy. And just whenever we do sort of have people on, that we want to sort of go back right to the start.
Yeah.
So obviously your early days was Rock Celtic and St. Kevin's
Yeah.
before obviously making the trip across the water. So in those early days, was there anyone that sort of would have been a big influence on you between the Rock and the Kevin's, and anyone that sort of stood out to you?
Yeah, like Walter Murphy took me from Rock Celtic up to the Man United had an academy in Belfast, and they took me and Chippy McDonald as well. Used to go up and down, and then we had a few like I know Dylan O'Hanlon played and Ant O'Reilly played and a couple of things in the Rock, so like clubs could look at us and things like that, and that's kind of when I first started going over and back to clubs. And I went over and back to clubs probably from when I was 12 to 15, like, you know, whoever would offer a trial, you'd go like for a weekend and come back, and you'd miss a bit of school or whatever. And then eventually, between Kevin's and Rock Celtic, I went to United, and obviously that was like unbelievable, like, you know, at that age, overwhelming. So, and then that went too fast. Like, I wish I'd have known what I know now then, like, you know, but what can you do?
Was there ever a point, Jamie, like you were saying there, obviously it started under 12s when you were kind of going up with Chippy and things like that, but was there ever a point, I suppose, that you knew that you kind of had the ability to go over and make it? Like, as a young player there, did you feel like you were head and shoulders above people, or?
No, I didn't, and I don't know if I really was. Like, I think I was when I was like really young.
Yeah.
And then when we got to like 10, 11, 12, I know how competitive we all are around here at that age.
Yeah.
Like, so many good lads.
4 or 5 teams. Now, I know under my age,
Yeah.
we had 4 or 5 great teams always competing, like the likes of Key, Rock, Glenmuir, Belogan, Mahavenamore, all them likes.
And we used to play each other on a Saturday at the soccer, and then we play each other on a Monday the Gaelic in the school, and then on a Tuesday at the school with the soccer, and it was just constant, wasn't it? Like, and no, I never felt like I was definitely a cocky kid, but I never felt like I was like way more talented than all the lads.
That you should be across, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and then I think I probably wasn't confident enough by the time I got over, and I saw what the lads were like over there. I was like, oh, here, it's just a whole new lads coming in from all over the world, and like, you think you're good back home, but these lads are like unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I think my confidence took a big knock then, seeing all these guys, and I think that's when I just reverted to like just working unbelievably hard. Like oh, I have to be the hardest working here because these lads are unbelievable. You know.
It seems to be the same with you know, they all speak about it. You can have all the talent in the world, but if your hard work's not there, like you see all the top players speak about it. But even to just go back a bit before United, Jimmy, like, see, when you went to Kevin's, was that, what age was that under, or like,
That
was there a
was-
big jump? Did you feel?
Yeah, that was 12 or 13. Like, definitely up at Kevin's. Like, they really believe that what they've got going on there is like the best in the country.
Yeah.
And it's like competition to get to St. Kevin's boys, and
Yeah, healthy
kinda-
competition.
yeah, you think you're there. You think if you get there, that you're really in the eye line of clubs. Like the first place they come and look is Kevin's and Malahide
Yeah,
and
I
stuff
get
like that. Rather than coming down and probably watching us Rock v Key, there probably wouldn't be too many watching. So like that was my idea behind it. Was like, can I get into the eye line of if I go and I play there, like, because they had an Easter tournament every year and we play like Arsenal Academy and things like that, and there'd be
Yeah.
loads of scouts coming to that. So
Yeah.
that was my thinking behind going and playing there. Like,
They don't know what they're missing out on, missing all these
that's
Keen
what I'm
Rock
saying.
matches, did they?
that's what I'm saying.
Come here, Jimmy. Was there any truth? I remember hearing it years ago. Was there any truth?
Oh, I don't- Is this about football?
No,
Is this
no,
about football?
You're grand. You're grand. If I heard that now after bank holiday weekend, I'm out of here. Keep your mic.
Be in the shucks there, like.
They were saying that they'd done tests on you when
Yeah.
they had you at trial at United, and they knew, because you weren't always like you weren't always the type of fella that was head and shoulders above everyone height wise either.
No.
But I remember someone had said that they'd done tests and they knew that you were going to grow to, what are you, about 6'5"?
Yeah.
They knew that you were going to grow to 6'5".
Yeah.
Is there truth in that?
Yeah, they did it at Chelsea. That was.
Was it?
It's a bone density scan where they put a little bit of, I don't know what the gel is called, on your wrists, and they get a full chronological picture of what you're going to be like, how you're going to fill out in your height and stuff. And they did it to a few guys at the time. And I remember they did it to a lad, and his chronological age was way above his current age,
Yeah.
and that's how they found out that it's not a legit passport or whatever.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
that they were doing that to a lot of lads, and they did it to me when I was young, and it said 6'4", 6'5", blah blah, and that gave them a lot of confidence. So like, and that's something we tell clubs when we went. We would take the pictures of that and be like we done a chronological like test, and I'm going to be this height and stuff like, and that
Smith,
obviously
is it?
played a big part. Like,
Yeah, is it accurate? Sorry, Jimmy. Like,
It has
did
been
everything they
accurate,
said like come
Well, I
true?
was-
Like,
I was 12,
yeah, but
yeah.
I'd say it's not just height. Like, there's other things they would probably
There
say
so
with
it
this.
was saying like it would know your current age, and it would
Yeah.
say what age you're developed at physically. So I think I
Right.
was 14 or 15 when I did this.
Yeah.
And it was saying my chronological age was like 12 or 13, like I hadn't fully hit puberty or developed properly at all. Like
Oh, right. Okay.
I was well behind, but it was saying like it's coming. Whereas like you can have a 14, 15-year-old and he's fully developed.
Yeah, so he's not gonna
So you're like,
grow anymore.
so like, this might be as good as he's going to get physically, maybe.
Yeah.
So they'd look at all that kind of thing, which is interesting. They still
Yeah,
use it
that's
now.
cool.
like.
I go get that done. See, when I'm going to start growing.
Yeah.
Looking great.
Chronological age. That's it.
Passports expired.
So then when obviously you got to Manchester,
Yeah.
so that was obviously mind blowing. You spoke with that already about how hard you had to work, but how difficult was that leaving here?
Yeah, I did find it tough. Like, I'm not ashamed to admit that. Like, the whole missing your family for a kid. Like, and I hate admitting it a little bit because you think, I know, come on, but I think at 15, I did struggle. I remember struggling a little bit at the start, and then I got really badly injured and a double hip operation, and I was still going to school over there. So I ended up like within my first year just going to school full time because I couldn't train or play, and it was just a weird experience because it was like, what's the point in me being here? And I felt like I was always playing catch up after my operations. It was like a total of 12 or 13 months, like, and I felt like I was constantly playing catch up after that, and then had to play with the under 16s a little bit to get going. And then by the time I got into the 18s and started playing a little bit, Nicky Butt said like, oh, there's an opportunity if you go to Burnley for a few years, like, and it might be a healthier decision for your career. And I was like, no. I was like, I've still got a year at United, like, I'm staying here, like. And he was kind of like, no, you're not, like. He was
Simple as that. Yeah.
He's like, I said it politely, like, but it's best for you, like. And I was like, spoke to my agents, my mum, and I was obviously heartbroken because there'd been a few before that. He's doing really well, might give him another year, and I was getting excited and stuff. And then the Burnley thing came in, and I didn't realise it at the time, but it was the best decision, obviously, because I wasn't getting to where I needed to get, obviously, at United at that age, and it was like 3 years at Burnley, and they had a new thing coming and stuff, and I went into the 23s there, and it was better for me. Like, and then I started the whole loan process, you know. So it made sense. It was obviously heartbreaking at the time, but
It's tough.
yeah, you don't realise it. And I was looking back on it now, it probably was for the best. Like,
What age was that? Sorry, Jimmy. Just
so that was 18.
18. Yeah, but even as you said, when you come over, you had the
Yeah.
double hip operation, like as you said, playing
Ah,
catch up.
yeah.
For you to stick at that and just to go to school, because you said there, like, what's the point in me being here? Like, you could have easily, and there's probably many of boys that have done that, and something happened and they came straight back home. Do you know what I mean? So that just shows your mentality, and even to be
Yeah,
told
thanks.
that by such like I suppose legend of probably Manchester United, like Nicky Butt-Class in
Yeah.
'92, and then you went and done it all. But yeah, I like that insight and everything. It's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just shows you what it
Yeah.
takes down mentally wise to get to it as well.
And
Yeah.
Jimmy, you're obviously played with some top class players, and when you were in with United, probably was there any notable characters that you would have been close with at the time from United?
When you're coming through,
Yeah, like so my age group ended up being really successful. So you have like I'll start from the back, like Dean Henderson obviously had a career, Scott McTominay's had a career, Marcus Rashford's had a good career, Axel Tuanzebe, Fosu Mensah, and then there's loads of other names that you probably might not be too common with, like Tosin Kindi and stuff, that are having really good careers. And usually, like in age groups, one or two get through, and then a lot of lads filter out naturally. You're like, not everyone can have a career in the game somewhere, but my age group was really successful. And when I was struggling a little bit, or when I first came in my school year, was Marcus and Tosin Kindi. So them two are really like close to me and good to me. And yeah, I actually thanked them quite a lot, because like you come over and you're a bit new and you struggle, like an Irish Dundalk accent and all, like no one had a clue. I was, and I used to be a proper little townie. I don't know where I got it from. I don't know where that came from, but no one understood a word I was saying. So a couple of lads were like really helpful and stuff, and that was good.
It's mad, that, isn't it? Like,
yeah, coming through, and like just to maybe speak a bit on the boys coming through, like was like the likes of Rashford and that, like no way, I suppose, just talking, because he's obviously probably one that's most kind of famous from the age group, but like when you come over and just come into the training and seeing, what was that like? Was he just amazing, like, or
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Like unquestionably, like, and there was a lot of lads who are like scary talented that if I said their names you wouldn't even know them.
Yeah,
but, like,
yeah.
But like loads of talent everywhere. And the academy at the time was like, it was still a little bit from the Alex Ferguson era, where they like really encouraged individual brilliance, and
Yeah.
the game was less like structured
Yeah,
the
it's
way
a
it
bit
is
now.
now. Like it was like get it wide and wingers doing all their stuff, and he was like unbelievable at that, and yeah, like just explosive athlete, like everything, and like he's just gone through the roof, hasn't he? Like,
I suppose you probably marked him a few times, like what was...
yeah, like
But I suppose putting yourself up against the best is how you become the best, isn't it, too?
It's a scandal. And like even when you get a bit older, I've found like when you play league football, you sacrifice like gym work and stuff a little bit, because there's a game every 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, so it's recovery.
And it's like it's different, but the top six, the athletes are like unbelievable. Like I'm sure like the speed of like Rashford's feet and all that, it's probably kind of science stuff, which is boring stuff, but I look at it now and I'm like, oh, they've progressed physically so much, and the Premier League now is so explosive that like
Yeah.
it's tough to get near these lads. Like,
It's mad though, because we'd watch on the telly there,
Yeah.
and you're saying, "Oh, how does he not give that pass?" and all
Yeah.
this, and they're going at, as you said, there 100 miles an hour.
and
Like,
that's like the little free kicks, like, oh, you barely touched them, but like that little clip sends you flying.
yeah,
like,
because you're going that fast. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
I was gonna say that, just like I'd say there's some difference there actually playing in it and watching from the telly, the speed of the game, like
Yeah.
through everything. Even there, when you're looking at some shots that might go in, and you're like, oh, could you have saved that? And there was just no chance. Like,
Yeah. The standard now, like, of the Premier League is gone.
Yeah.
It's gone ridiculous. Like the fact that if you got like Villas and Brightons and stuff trying to compete
Yeah.
and still not being able to get in the top is mad.
And with Rashford having been such an influence on you when you were there, and you were saying he helped you not like, or helped you a lot, I'm sure it hurts seeing the criticism then that he gets. Like we look at it as some of us here as Man United fans. You know what I mean? You don't like seeing that sort of stuff. He's United through and through, but for someone that's close to him, like, I'm sure that's not a nice thing to see online with between
Yeah.
the Euros, and then obviously coming into this year, he had a sort of a less favourable year at United. It wasn't as good as last year, I suppose, but
Yeah, I certainly don't like people I know tweeting about
Yeah.
like just because they're superstars. Like it's the exact same as Dave tweeting about me, like Dunn's whatever. Like, so I hate seeing people I know tweeting about like players like they're just robots.
yeah,
But obviously, like, criticism is part of the game, and it is water off a duck's back to the majority, I think. But when it's Man United or something like that, it's massive, the criticism they get, isn't it? Like,
it's
Twitter and
crazy.
all blows up, and like they can't avoid it because they're in Manchester, and like they go anywhere and they just get absolutely like must mess with your head, zero positivity whatsoever. Like,
Yeah.
and they still are expected to perform. It's mad.
Yeah, no, it's not right. Like, it really isn't. Like, it's especially after the Euros. Like, that whole thing with the Euros, I know that's been widely publicised, how ridiculous it was and all. Do you know what I mean? Like, 3 lads getting up and
Oh, it's nuts.
missing a bloody penalty, man, as if
Yeah.
they meant to miss it.
Yeah.
Like, you
Yeah,
know.
and it's slaughtered. Like,
Yeah.
They were talking about that as well, though, and I seen a good thing. Like, why is the likes of like Saka should never hit that penalty? There's senior players there on the team that should be taking the penalty. Do you know, like that? But their senior players are letting them go and have that
Yeah, but
opportunity.
It's besides the point too, isn't it? It's besides the point to the fact that a player can't walk up, kick a penalty,
But the pressure,
miss
like,
it,
pressure's mad.
miss
Isn't it?
Yeah.
it, and then get the abuse that they get because they did miss it.
yeah. Well, you'd know more than us, I suppose, Jimmy. Like, is there anything you maybe use as a coping mechanism for like the criticism? Would there be anything like? Is it just go and talk to maybe your local clubs, like what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think.
Psychologist.
Psychologist,
I do
yeah,
think
sorry.
every player should have a psychologist.
Definitely.
Like, definitely learn coping mechanisms
Yeah.
for, because like when things are good, it's like life. Everything flows, doesn't it? Like,
Yeah.
when you're confident and you're playing well, it's easy. But like the last couple of years at QPR, obviously we've been like near the bottom of the league, and it's the worst place in the world to be. Like, 'cause
Yeah.
it just feels like the pressure's mounting down on you all the time, and like another loss, and it's so easy to get into that
Yeah, right.
rut, like, and it's so hard to break that habit, like, and the negative. I need positive people around me. Like, my circle's just dead small. People that I know aren't gonna
Yeah.
like hurt my feelings too much, just because I get enough of it. 'Cause I just need just positive, not like the false positivity.
Yeah.
Like, I hate that as well. But like, just like I was with Fergal McDonald there in the car, and he's perfect for me because he's not like not fake positivity, but like, no, you're grand, like it's a game, whatever, blah blah, like forget about it, there's loads more this season, like you're doing well.
Yeah.
I'm like, alright, grand chip, yeah.
Like,
Like, that's
Good,
enough.
go.
Yeah, that's enough for me, like, you know.
It might be nice though to hear that, I suppose, from someone like Fergal. You
Yeah.
come home yourself and you know, you hear it from, I suppose, not a professional in the sport or anything like that. It's just probably your mate talking to you, and you know that fact.
Yeah, you believe them more, like.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
that's what
believe
you're
them
saying
a bit
about the faults. Like, I understand that as well, but you have to constructively, criticize someone too. Do you know that type of way? Would you be the type of person that would take criticism, like, I suppose, not personal, but like, what way do you feel like that
Yeah, like,
mentally
just-
wise? Like, do you just think
yeah.
if someone says to you, like, straight up, like, you have to do this better, you're just like, straight away, yeah? Or do you feel like, oh, you're not appreciating this side of my game, or things like that?
I think if it's straight up and
Yeah.
like people can talk to you about it, it's fair enough. But I think everyone struggles, like the shouting and the like. I don't respond well to shout. Like, you shout at me, I'm gone. Like,
Yeah, I get you.
you know
Yeah,
what I mean. But if someone pulls me to the side, it's like Ilias Chair pulls me and is like, Jim, I just don't do well with long balls. Like, if you keep shouting in behind, I've got no chance. He's like, alright, fair enough. Like,
yeah.
come to feet, and I'll look for your feet. Like,
Talk to you
but if he's
properly.
going, Jim, fucking stop fucking lumping it,
Yeah,
blah,
balking at you.
then I'm just like, fuck you. Like, what? You know what I mean?
I'll put it a bit higher for you the next time.
Yeah.
Bury
And
them.
that's probably childish, but like, it's hard not to. Do you know what I mean?
It is though, but everyone feels that's
Yeah,
what makes you
everyone.
human. Like, do you know?
Yeah, it's hard not to.
Yeah, well, probably just sticking with United then before we jump. Like, I know you said you had the 2 lads in school, Marcus and that, for that were very supportive. But any coaches apart from Nicky Butt?
Yeah, I did have good coaches. I don't know if it's the same like you lads from like school teachers and stuff like that. I
Mm.
think you remember the bad ones more nearly
Yeah,
sometimes.
you can. Yeah,
Like, there's a couple of coaches in my head that I just think, oh, you didn't support me one bit, or like, I could have gotten way more for you, or you're too busy. It's so much easier to coach the lads that are like top of the group or whatever, or not like.
Yeah.
So I felt like let down, but there's a lot of coaches I can think of, like not a lot, but a few that stick out in my mind. And then the good ones, you just think, oh, he's doing his job.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it is probably a bit of a lose-lose as a coach. But there's a couple of coaches like Ian Jones, again, coaches that your names wouldn't recognise, who care about you as a person, and like will ask about your family. And like, I know you probably hear a lot of footballers say that, or like these say Alex Ferguson used to ask about your family stuff, and you think whatever, but like it really makes you feel kind of special, or it makes you want to personally play well for them when they actually care about you. So there's a couple of coaches like that I coached at along the way that like still text me, still want me to do well, that like you want to do well, so you can be like, you can talk to them about it.
It's about being a good person, isn't it? At the end of the day, too.
100%,
Like
yeah.
people skills.
100%.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people have them, do they?
No.
No.
It's just mostly targets and things like that. They'll probably think them, like, you obviously understand the pressures on it from their side, but like they're looking at a 15, 16,
Yeah.
17-year-old kid, and they're
Footballers
just
are
not
stats now as well, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like,
exactly, yeah. Stat sport.
yeah, it's stats sports, man. Yeah, so a couple of coaches over the years that like when they're personal with you, appreciate it. You know.
And then, sorry, probably not the. I suppose I don't want to be prying, Jimmy, but like, see when Nicky Butt did come to you, and you know you made the decision to go to Burnley, was there maybe a couple of clubs, or was it just Burnley come in and that was the best decision for you? Or
I remember specifically because like the season hadn't even nearly finished, and I still had another year. Like I wasn't expecting this conversation at all.
yeah,
When the Burnley thing happened, so like I didn't have a time to like finish the season or finish my contract and have a look around or anything like that. It
Yeah,
was literally like, he was just like, do you want this opportunity? Like, I was
Yeah.
like, I don't want to ever leave here. Why would I ever want to leave here? Obviously, but yeah, if that's what you're telling me I have to do,
Yeah.
then
he just felt it. Do you ever hear, like, as you said there, probably took you by a bit surprise, but I don't know, obviously I haven't been in them kind of underage groups over in them clubs. Would there always be kind of like rumours about people, or is it kept like well under wraps about
like
people
lads
going?
leaving and
Yeah, like would there be much like talk in the I suppose locker room about it? Or?
always, yeah, like our change room would be pretty open. Like if something went on Twitter or something was said, like as soon as you get in the change room, you're not going anywhere. Like, what is that on Twitter? Or like, I saw you like that on Instagram. What's that mean? Like, or like if a gaffer pulls one of the lads in to speak to someone, you're dying to know what was that about? Like
the teacher, isn't it? Everyone goes, oh, and I'm being pulled in.
it's the exact. And I think managers they think that we don't talk about that stuff. Like, but as soon as he comes down from the meeting with the manager, we're like, right, what is it?
Yeah.
and everyone knows then. So.
Yeah. I like
Yeah,
the way that
always.
there's a bit of banter in it as well. Do you know what I mean?
It's total, yeah. Well, maybe every change room is different, but there's no secrets in ours. I don't think so, anyway.
Yeah. That camaraderie though is what makes a team, I think, though, as well. Being out and
100%.
open, you know yourself. But just then going on to probably the move to Burnley. I don't even know where Burnley is in regards to Manchester. Is it
close.
far away?
It's
Hour,
the
yeah,
north,
it's an
yeah, it's
hour
Oh,
close.
it's only an hour, is it? So what, did you
Yeah.
have to like uproot and move down the road? Yeah.
Yeah, I remember I packed all my stuff early, took it to digs up in Burnley, and then I went home for the off season. And I was like to my family, "Oh, when I go back, I'm going to Burnley. I'm not going to Manchester." And then had a summer off, got my head around it and stuff, and then went. I did a year in the 23s there, and obviously completely different football and stuff like that. They were like,
Yeah.
"Stop bringing it down on your chest. Like, you're in the box, head it away. Like, be a proper defender." And I kind of developed that whole like, not old fashioned, but like more realistic in terms of like league football and stuff, and what you'd see in the Championship, maybe like clearing your lines and stuff like that. And
The basics.
yeah, do the basics. Like, you know, you'd take it down wherever you are, and do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So did that for a year, and then just went loan, and then that took me all the way until COVID hit, where there was a couple of lads ill, and I ended up playing. Like, so
Yeah, so you got a lucky break, isn't it? But
100%, yeah.
even going back to just even the summer off, Jimmy, like as you said there, it hit you a wee bit hard. Was there anything in particular you done, or was it just like go back home, speak to your family?
Like, I always felt coming home that pretty judged, like around, like, you know, everyone was asking my mum, like, "Oh, how's
Yeah.
he getting on now?" And like, not like, I do find some people are happy to see you not do great.
There definitely is that
Yeah,
about,
you know what I
because
mean, like-
they're frustrated with them. They take their own frustration out on you, and
Yeah.
because they aren't where they want to be, they're delighted that you're not where
Yeah.
you wanted to be either. Well, not.
Yeah, so I felt that a lot, and I never wanted the stigma of like, oh, he failed or whatever, like
Yeah.
he's come home kind of thing. And it's not failure, because everyone goes somewhere in life, and sometimes you got to come home and do whatever you've got to do. Like,
Definitely.
it's still a great success, but that was kind of in my head. I was very eager to prove
them.
people wrong, which is, I don't know if that's immature or whatever, but that's how I felt like, and I felt like people were happy to see me not do great or whatever.
That's
So,
good. You can motivate yourself there. You know what I mean, Jimmy? Like I just said there, I put you on the probably motivation part to say, actually,
Yeah.
I'm not going to let them talk, and I'm not
Yeah.
going to fail, because I know myself from playing football, the amount of footballers you hear that went over, you know, across the
Yeah.
water, and they've come back, and then people label them as like a failed footballer or whatever. But as you said there, it's not really a failure. It's more like a guidepost to where you need to be.
That's all it is, yeah. And there's a lot of people that are positive as well. Like,
Yeah.
you know, a lot of people like Rock Celtic, dead, like ex-players from the club and all that, dead supportive, always want to see me do well. But obviously, like I said before, sometimes the negativity sticks a little bit more sometimes, you know.
Yeah, it always does.
And you mentioned there just you got your chance with Burnley there. That was first Premier League appearance, and you scored in that game as well. What was that like?
Oh yeah, I was ecstatic. Like, it was like, and it came out of nowhere because before COVID hit, it was a Friday, and we had Man City the next day, and I had gotten onto the bench. It would have been my first like bench appearance, and COVID hit, and I was like, what is that like? Obviously we were all I was like, finally in a Premier League squad. Like, I was chuffed. I was like, text my mum, like, we're playing Man City tomorrow on the bench, like the Etihad round, blah blah. And then I was like, no, everyone's going home for like 3 months. And I was like, the lads wouldn't believe me. I was like, no lads, I was like, actually, I swear.
I swear it was.
And then we went back, trained, no fans and all, and it was that whole thing where like, were you living in a house with someone, okay, 10 days off, or like, do you know, like, were you in close? So like, James Tarkowski couldn't play, Ben Mee couldn't play, and me and Kevin Long played, and I think we got battered in the end. It was 4-2 or something, but still unreal.
Yeah.
I was buzzing, like, couldn't believe it. And I don't know if it maybe helped that there was no fans there for your first, you know, because by the time I played my second or third one, a few fans had started coming back in, and I was a little bit more relaxed or whatever. So, but yeah, like a little bit of luck, but buzzing to get that experience, buzzing.
Yeah. Well, I suppose that probably did help a wee bit, having the no stadiums and then letting it build and build instead of going into the packed out stadium. But the manager at that time was it
Sean
Dyche, yeah. And like, see, before, you know, your start, would he have pulled you and had a wee chat with you?
No, none of that. No.
Oh no.
They treated everyone kind of the same and just go and do the business on or whatever. Like,
So,
there wouldn't be no.
You like James Tarkowski and Ben Mee are out, and he just
I just
expects you to slot in and just
He
know
just-
your role
Just
basically.
call the team out on the pitch, and I just stood in the thing, and I was legs shaking. I was like,
Yeah.
I was like, and all the lads were like, wait.
Wasn't pre-workout, was it?
Mad, yeah. So, no, class, like, deadly experience. I'll never forget that. Obviously, Mum's got a picture in the house and all, kept my jersey and all, so like,
Oh, deadly.
Deadly.
class,
Yeah,
yeah.
class.
You got on very well with Dwight McNeil then up at Burnley, didn't you?
Yeah, and he crossed it in for my goal.
Did
and
he?
stuff,
Yeah.
So yeah, Dwight's a really good friend of mine, and it's good. You do pick up loads of mates in
Yeah.
football, like not loads, but like anywhere you pick up some class pals, like, you know.
That's a nice story to have then.
Yeah.
Nice for your sister off the pad.
Yeah, quality. Yeah,
Looking after you.
yeah, it's
Say he was
quality.
bantering him after that one, was he?
Yeah.
And come here, you'd 3 senior appearances, I think, in total for Burnley. Do you think you should have gotten more out of your time there? I know you went on loan an awful
Yeah.
lot, but do you think, like with Burnley, with the senior team itself, should you got more time on the pitch?
I definitely think I was dead capable of it. Like, I know a couple of cup games and stuff, but I don't really look back on it with regrets. Obviously, the decision whether to stay or go there was obviously a big deal for me because the team didn't change much there at all. And I know, like, maybe if I had been at a different team where the squad rotates or whatever like that, maybe I'd have gotten a few more games in or whatever. But I think I did everything I could probably do there, and she made the decision to play regularly now, like somewhere permanent, and not have to go on loans and not really be considered a main senior player, kind of. Because I think when you come up through somewhere, you're always the young lad.
Yeah.
I think if I was still there now, I'd be the young lad. So like,
Yeah.
I made that decision, and I don't regret it. Like, because obviously I've played heaps of football, and you get a lot of experience, and you know, maybe I'd have played more Premier League appearances, and it might have been better for me. Who knows? Like, maybe I should have tried to stay at Man United or something, or fought for, I don't know. Like, you never know now, but made that decision. I've played loads of games. I love it at QPR. Like, it's an unreal club. The fans and all are class, so I have no regrets, you know.
And Jimmy, see, just when you were saying about going out and loan all that times, you spoke a wee bit obviously about the United thing. It was Nicky Pop maybe came to you. What was it like at Burnley? Was it kind of more so your decision that I think you kind of touched on it there, but was it like, see when the loan started, like what way did that start? It's just obviously you probably need a bit more football to get into the team. Is that the way they would have?
Yeah, when I went to Burnley, I wasn't in the first team at all.
Yeah.
And it was just like go and play men's football. So like within 18 months of getting released from United, I was playing in the conference and it was just it was mad. And then thankfully in the January League 2, and then in the summer SPL League 1 whatever, and then the COVID thing happened and I got in at Burnley, so it was just been a mad, like, it's just been all over the place. It's actually nice to think about it and to look back at it now, because you don't really much. But yeah, then the champions in QPR came along, and it's been unbelievable there.
Yes. We had a cup final with Hearts, did we? And or was it a cup semi final?
Yeah,
and we were at Wembley with Sunderland.
Yeah, semi final with Hearts, and we had Wembley twice in a week, and I was on the bench twice that week for Sunderland, and it was the worst ever.
That's snaky.
We had the Papa John's or something like that, and then the League One playoff final, all in the same week, and we just stayed the whole week in London, and I didn't play a minute. And it was the worst week ever. My family stayed for the whole week thinking I'd get a kick around. So no, I still haven't had a kick at Wembley. Like, get there though.
Get there.
Got a half-time show at least.
Yeah. Zinged it around at half time to drag me off. Yeah.
That's it for the pretty stuff, Jimmy.
Yeah.
But see the way you were saying there as well, sorry, like you played in League 2, Scotland, Premier League, like do you notice much difference between the leagues? Like I know obviously probably Premier League obviously top, it's the top, but like even Scotland compared to the Championship or League 1, like what way?
Yeah, it's hard. It's definitely hard to compare the levels, and that's what me and Fergal were arguing about in the car the whole room. Like, he'd definitely play in League 1. I'm going, he wouldn't.
Because we always get this like debate from a couple of the Celtic fans saying if they were in England, they'd be them and Rangers would be top 6, top 10 in Premier League. But their kind of thing for it is fan base wise. If we had the money, then we'd get.
Yeah, I don't disagree too much with that, like, because they'll have loads of investment, loads of fans, and then they could invest and get to that stage. But I think
it'd take a long time.
Yeah, maybe currently it's so hard to compare the levels. Or like, I suppose the best way you can judge is who goes where. Like, you know, there's loads of League of Ireland lads have gone over and done well. So like, surely they're capable and all, you know. But it's dead hard to compare the leagues. Like, League 2's it's tough, battering rams, like, and so physical, so direct. But like, football's trying to change periodically everywhere now. Everyone's trying to play out, and everyone's trying to be Pep, really, aren't they? It's all changed,
and
like, hasn't
you
it?
find that in League 1 and 2 and all. That's following same suit.
Yeah, you see, because like, if they're not playing that way, then clubs above them won't take their players, or the managers won't get them above. So like, you're gonna have to join them, aren't you? Really, you know.
Yeah. Can't beat them.
That's what I'm saying. So everything's changing. Yeah.
That's mad. Because you've seen as well, just even touching that point where you're like, Madrid after winning the Champions League obviously played Man City. Man City battered them the whole game. Everyone knows Man City are a better footballing team. Madrid find a way, and then as you said there, even you touched on it when you were speaking about, you know, like the Ferguson era at United, individual brilliance. Like Ancelotti literally says that in his interviews now. And Mourinho said it after the game. He's like, he's not a social media coach. Do you know what I mean? He's a proper coach, like, and he speaks about it. But I think when it goes so far away, like as you said, it's all these positional players, inverted fullbacks and all. Yeah. Teams like Madrid and that, even though they mightn't have the stats, they still come out and win games. Like, would there be any teams in the Premier League that would kind of...
The Premier League is so tactical now, isn't it? Like,
yeah, like it's we probably wouldn't even be able to comprehend it. Like, you've obviously seen it from the background, you know, probably kind of most of it. Like, we probably can't even comprehend the tactics.
Yeah, it is mentally actually tough, and the amount of preparation you can put into figuring out what a team are going to do on the Saturday, and then something happens because football's random and all tactics out the window or whatever.
They change a player, so it's about kind of adapting, I suppose, as well.
Yeah, but obviously Pep's like revolutionised everything, hasn't he? Like, he's just full back inside, and then everyone started doing it. Then he'll put a centre back midfield, and then he'll everyone's doing it now, and they'll
No.
think of something else, won't he? Like,
Yeah, no, he's the 4 centre-backs playing in,
Do you know what I mean?
in
Like-
all the positions. But
yeah,
see, even when you were on the bench, like, would you have, like, was Pep the manager at the time? Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and what was that like, just being across? Was it like surreal, like, and him probably down shouting, going,
Yeah, well, I would go to loads of Man City games because Barry Hamilton works for Man City, so I
yeah,
would ask Barry for tickets and watch loads and loads of Man City, and like, yeah, they're obviously just like, it's not fair anymore. Is
yeah.
it?
Scary.
It's not fair.
They call
It
them
is
boring,
mental.
sure.
Yeah,
They're that good, like.
yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
I'd rather win a 5-0. That's what have to bore the life out of me. 'Cause I'm
Yeah.
expecting it to happen.
Do you know?
But anyway, so you're brought in QPR, fan favourite, week in, week out starter. That was a complete breath of fresh air, I'd imagine.
Yeah, like that was so good, and like West London's unreal. Like, great place to live. Fans unreal. The club's got loads of like culture and like history and stuff, and I love it. Like, the lads are class. You know, they only like we've had loads of managers in the last few years. That is tough. Like, one manager likes one thing, and it has been an emotional roller coaster at QPR. Like, but this season's been unbelievable. Like, obviously our new managers come in, and we were in the bottom 3 all season, and then we just dug our way out of it at the end, and like, the best relief ever. It's like getting a promotion. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
It's as good as.
yeah.
It's as good as. We all like been in a couple of relegation battles myself for Gaelic,
Yeah.
so
The
it's
worst feeling ever.
It's like winning a championship when you come out of it though at times,
Yeah.
depending how it can be. But
It's
Yeah.
mad seeing like QPR like that, isn't it? Because I always just remember them as the club that came into the Premier League 12-13
Yeah.
season, spent all that money, and but that probably sent them backwards. Did it? Obviously, did they get relegated? I think they got relegated that season, didn't
Yeah.
they?
up for one season, yeah, and back down the
So would
second
the-
time they come up.
Would there have been a change of owners there and everything like that?
No,
or
same owners.
Same owners, yeah.
Same owners, but I think the club's in a better financial position now. Like, so hopefully the next few years are going to be positive. You know.
Stop pushing, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Can't be down here forever.
No, and come here, Jimmy. A lot of charity work that you do in your time at
Yeah.
QPR, especially the 2 lads that you've had in your socials and that as well.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy giving back as much as you can?
Yeah, like giving back. Like, I don't know how much really giving back. Like, but that's something that I don't know. I feel quite personally attached to. Like, Huey was a lad diagnosed with leukemia when I was at Burnley, and he's a big Burnley fan and stuff. And I got really close to him and his family and followed his journey the whole way through. And what a feeling that is when a kid comes out healthy. It's like unbelievable. And then Daniel Greer, who's a family friend, just rang the bell the other day to leave hospital from Manchester to come back home.
Oh.
I was like, thank God, man. Like, oh my God, like, best feeling ever, and relief for his family. Like, he was in hospital, like, didn't leave hospital for like weeks on end, like, and I can't imagine he's 15, you know. I can't imagine what that must be like, and I'd nearly feel guilty if I wasn't, I don't know, promoting it or helping somehow, you know.
I know what you mean. Well, you have that platform there, but like that,
Yeah.
there's a lot of people that aren't doing it, Jimmy. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So you can't take that for granted either. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a huge indication to the person that you are.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of the stuff, like I've seen an awful lot of it in the socials. It's not just the 2 lads you mentioned either. There's a lot more that
Yeah.
have been there over the last couple of years. So like, you have the voice there, you have the platform, and you've used it. So fair play to you in that sense.
It's
Thanks
nice to
very
hear you
much.
speak though as well, Jimmy, about that. Just saying, like, you're literally saying, oh, I don't feel like, you know, like not that you're not giving back, but like the little amount, you know, like you feel it's little to you, but the amount to them is so massive. And I'd say, I think you had it on the social as well, just learning, like as you spoke about here, you had a bit of a difficult time as well. Even watching them in their difficult time, it probably helps with your perseverance and things like that as well.
I think definitely perspective helps with like a football and football anxiety, and like perspective I think is everything, and there's obviously been a couple of things that happened in all our lives that puts football into perspective big time, and when I get too bogged down in football and like the game, I completely forget like the bigger picture and stuff like that. So stuff like this definitely puts life into perspective. I know we all experience stuff like that, you know.
Yeah.
See there, Jimmy, I'd be mad to know this myself as well. Like a training routine there.
Yeah.
If you could even take us through a day or a week, or even like your match prep, like what would a day consist of you, like at the training ground there?
Would you
so
say
if
it's
we-
like ours, Eddie? We warm up a few drills and then a 20-minute game at the end. Yeah.
Gets
Yeah,
results.
you'd
Gets
like
results,
that.
lads.
Yeah, gets results.
Yeah, I'll go through a week. I'll fly through a week. If we have a game on a Saturday, obviously the championship, you could have a game any time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, there's games come Christmas, Tuesday, Thursday nights. Then you're playing all through Christmas. Like we did Saturday, then we did Friday, Monday, Thursday. So like the prep
Yeah.
is really difficult. It's like more meetings and recovery and stuff. But Monday morning in breakfast on the grass, like robustness training, like looking after your groins, hamstring health, stuff like that. Tuesday, you'd up the ante a little bit physically because you get Wednesday off.
Yeah.
Thursday train set pieces as well on Thursday. Friday a little bit less, but also top up on set pieces. You definitely have meetings both those days on the opposition, maybe on a Thursday, and then on a Friday our total game plan, and then Saturday warm up and go for it. So that's,
Culmination.
Yeah.
you know what I mean. A lot of meetings, a lot of sitting around. Like it's 9 to 5 job, lads. Actually,
Yeah.
I think it is.
you know what I mean?
And would that be like a lot to do with, as you're saying, video work and that, and like
Yeah.
if you knew you were starting that week, like, and you knew who you're gonna kind of come up against up top, would you know you'd have to kind of switch yourself for that, or get
Yeah.
yourself mentally prepped?
It's definitely covering all bases, and footballers should probably do their own research on who they're playing against, but like we get shown everything, and I think it's like just covering our arses, because if something happens unexpected, then there's someone to blame. So like we just cover everything, so it's your fault.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know, so
Yeah.
there's definitely a lot of meetings and a lot of work on opposition. You know.
And see, like, even from obviously the start of the season to the end, like obviously the start you're probably playing once a week, then towards the end it comes a game every 3 days. Do you find that's a lot different at the start of the season, or would it be the same throughout?
Yeah, it's like come Christmas when the games are nuts. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
tough. Like, and it's obviously them wet, cold nights and the ball zipping around, and you've played on a Saturday, and like no one ever plays 100% like physically fit. I don't think
Yeah.
at any level you've always got, even though you're getting abused for not being able to run or whatever, ankles hanging off you, all sorts of medication. Like
Yeah, injection.
I was getting injections in my ribs for 6 to 8 months. Like couldn't move. Like, but no one cares. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one sees it.
Yeah,
That's
no
why.
one
No one
sees it,
cares.
yeah.
Yeah, no one cares as well. Yeah. Or maybe I should start posting about that. Like, by the way,
Before the
crap
game.
today.
Cover yourself.
Just telling you.
Get a wee story up there, yeah.
Yeah, ribs and bits, but gonna give it a try.
Please don't shout.
Yeah, please don't say it.
And have you any memorable matches or memorable moments on the pitch that stick out to you, apart from obviously the first goal and the Premier League start?
Yeah, like not so much like big games, but like getting a good result with your mates, that kind of feeling, like beating big clubs away, like beating Burnley away and beating Sheffield United away, and like stuff like that, where you're like away wins are class, because it's just like you and your pals out there like scrapping. Like the last 3 or 4 seasons it's been a similar group we've had at QPR, and you get like really close to each other, and the best feeling ever. It's like beating Rock the other night. It was just the lads like
Why you shushing the bench?
Yeah.
it's the best crack ever, like, and some of that stuff just sticks to you know. So I
You
can't
can't
think
get
of
away
any.
from it. He goes to watch a game, he's getting shushed and everything.
Shushing the Rock bench is just the best crack
Yeah.
ever.
You
Yeah,
love giving
no one there.
you love giving the away fans some at the end of the game, don't you?
Indeed.
Your
Yeah.
own away fans.
Yeah,
You love a wee fist bump into them.
100%.
Class though.
It's the best,
Yeah.
and they get riled up, and then they're probably going to have a scrap or something. Do you know what I mean?
That's all your
It's
fault.
unbelievable.
It's all his fault.
That's what football is about, and like even winding up opposition fans, like I just love seeing players do that, like, because it's the entertainment, isn't it? Like, so
Is there any, just I suppose it's quite similar question, but like any player you played against, Jimmy, where like you were on the pitch against him and you thought like, Jesus, this fella.
Danny Ings, like whenever
Oh, yeah?
people ask me this, I'm like, Jesus, this man is so sharp.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Where
like
did you play against him?
we played Southampton when I was at Burnley. And
Yeah.
it was my second game maybe, and like typical stuff where like strikers go in to get the ball and then spin you and stuff.
Yeah.
But he was doing it at 110 mile per hour, and like Jamie Vardy was sharp, but this guy was like deadly, and he got in on goal twice and put it in top ins twice, but he
Yeah.
was offside by an inch or something.
That was a good line from you, Jimmy.
Oh man, I was gone.
Like that, look.
I was like, yeah, I
Miles
knew what I was
off.
doing, man. I knew what I was doing.
A lot easier to do in the summer league there, isn't it?
But like scary sharp. Oh my god, finishing's a joke as well.
That's crazy. Like, I never would have
Yeah.
thought Danny Ings.
Yeah.
Like, I know obviously he's a quality player, but like sharpness wise, you went and
Yeah. You know, if you watch like the finishing that the Villa lads put on of Ollie Watkins finishing that, like his finishing and everything's just unbelievable.
yeah.
So I can't imagine what Zlatan and all was like,
Yeah.
or like
God.
whoever. You know what I mean?
Maybe one day.
There you go.
Thanks for the stars.
And
Yeah.
so what's next? What's next for QPR? Do we think? Like, I know, look, you missed
Yeah.
you missed a large part of this season. You had a bad injury and the pre-season friendly,
Yeah.
the shoulder. So that's why you were in the relegation zone for most of the season.
That's the
Yeah,
trouble.
that's exactly right.
Oh, when I got back,
So we're back in
yeah,
fit and healthy for pre-season this year.
yeah,
Of course, it's going to be the objective to be promoted,
yeah.
but it's realistic in the championship for sure.
Yeah, well, I suppose the realism is that like 12 of the how many teams I've got at this FFP, and it's carnage for clubs signing players and stuff. They can't, like, they're gonna have to use their youth now, which clubs don't like to do. And we're in a better position and stuff. So that's my positivity. And we finished last season really well. We've got really good players, really good manager, like training ground and all's class, all this stuff. So the club is definitely moving in the right direction. Like where that'll be, who knows? But definitely just gonna keep pushing, keep going, keep working, like working as hard as I can, and seeing where it takes me. I still feel quite young, although like 26 now. I don't know where it's gone, that all that stuff, you know. But just gonna keep giving it a crack, like.
You are young, Jimmy. I'm 28. You're young.
Yeah.
We'll have to all get our
Not
QPR
finished
jerseys
yet.
ready to go for
Yeah,
August.
yeah.
Not finished yet though. And you were speaking there a little bit about the pre-season camp in Spain now, I think you said, yeah. What's that like going? Would that be the same every year? I assume maybe you went somewhere different, or I know teams would do like the same tours every year, or
We've
Like a lad's
definitely-
holiday with a bit of running.
Yeah. Well, it used to be like a night out at the end of it. I think those days are really gone in football, though. Like
all together, yeah.
I think so. Yeah, like no crack at all. But we'll see. But we've got a new. We've got not that I care. We've got a new head of performance, and the club's just in terms of standards and all just gone through the roof. So
Yeah.
we've gone mega professional, and the club's trying everything they can do to take us forward. So definitely dead positive. So this will be like obviously hot Girona.
Yeah.
Yeah, no better way to get fit, like, you know.
Running suicide sprints and all.
I mean,
But
the worst.
do you have any like games lined up in the pre-season yet? Like who are you?
Yeah, we're playing Spurs and we're playing Brighton, so I think that's like shows enough. Like we're out going after it, like, you know, two
Yeah.
class Reading, Spurs and Brighton, like, so Reading, Argaff, classic, you know.
Yeah, that's very good. You learn more from your losses, I suppose, if anything. Not saying that you're going to lose.
We're gonna
but
batter them.
Yeah.
And
That's
big
the attitude
Ange, man.
Yeah.
You know.
So we'll move on to sort of life back at home, and I'm sure like you've had 2 appearances with the Irish under 21s,
Yeah.
but I'm sure you've been in on the squads too, and hopefully a senior call up is on the horizon at some stage.
Oh, that's obviously just the dream, isn't it? Like, can't deny it. Like, to play, especially being from Dundalk. I don't know. Like, I'm sure the Dublin. I'm sure for everyone it's the same. But like, there'd be a gang of family and friends go up if I ever played in the game. It'd be unbelievable, like kind of career moment, wouldn't it? So, yeah, still hanging on to that dream. Like, you know, hoping it'll come one day. Hopefully, play in the Premier League, give myself more of a chance. Maybe, I don't know, but definitely haven't forgot about that one, and I'm gonna try and wiggle my way in somehow eventually, hopefully. Otherwise, I've got a granny from Northern Ireland. I don't know. I'm only joking.
That was the next question. We'll pass that one by. John O'Shea, get it done quick.
Yeah, start that, Remo.
You're getting a letter like the Macara lads now. Will you off, John O'Shea?
We'll see what happens. Like, you know.
And then let's even say if we fast forward to near enough the end of your career, do you ever see you maybe coming back and playing for Dundalk or
Key Celtic,
The
never
Rock.
mind Dundalk.
The Rock.
or even maybe going to the Jers and trying to get a Joe
funny,
Ward?
I've thought more about that than I have
Yeah,
come back and playing footy, like, 'cause I'm so determined to keep going that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't ever see myself getting old and
Yeah.
having to come down the levels.
yeah.
But obviously it happens, your body slows up or whatever. But I have thought about, like, imagine coming back and playing for the Jets. It'd be class.
Hacked out of it every week.
Half forward on the swivel, like, it's so funny.
6'5"
Yeah.
half forward that can move.
Mark. That's
It'd
all
be
it'd be.
class.
Kicking it up, Mark.
Sick.
Yeah. So no, I tell Fergal and all the lads that I'd be best player by a mile, man. We'll see what happens. I'm not sure, like, what my plans are for the end of my career. I don't even want to think about it.
Yeah,
maybe.
No.
Yeah, definitely.
Or even like,
No.
do I want to live at home? I don't know, like,
Yeah.
where do I want to be? But
I'm not sure you do, Jimmy. It's not great around here, is it, lads?
I like it around
It's
here,
nice
like,
to come back to. It's
Yeah.
nice to come
Yeah.
back.
That's how I feel. Like, come
Home is
back.
home.
Home is definitely home. Yeah.
So, like, for young lads now, look, you've probably been, just trying to think back, probably Steve Staunton's been the last most successful person to come out of Dundalk. Being truthful, like, there's no one else that's really hit the Premier League, I don't think, never mind stay at a level
Yeah.
like the Championship and that. So, like, what advice would you have in the modern age? Like, I know we've heard Steve talking about young lads coming through, but that game's gone. So in the modern age, if there's a young lad from Dundalk that is hoping, or Ireland or whatever, looking to make it across the water, what sort of advice are you giving them?
Yeah, it is a good question. It's a difficult question because I think if I'm always relating to myself, then it might not be relatable to another lad. My career today has just been so all over the place, and it has been kind of an uphill battle and a bit of a fight story, you know, because I probably wasn't the most talented ever lad. Obviously, to a certain extent, but like, as boring as it may sound, like, to be able to be totally committed and to be able to actually make sacrifices at a young age, especially when the lads just want to, like, no one wants to go outside anymore, the young lads, like,
Yeah, it's mad.
just want to be playing, like, we'd be out all the time, like, or playing, we played rugby, hurling, anything, just do something. Now, like,
You wouldn't get us
obviously,
in.
just couldn't, like, so I
Doing
don't
the
know if
PlayStation now.
that's a sad thing now for young lads. I don't know how committed they'd want to be. Like, if you tell an 11-year-old he needs to, like, put the ball over the bar 100 times before he comes in, like, chance he wants to be on TikTok or whatever.
Yeah.
So that would be my fear. Like, would you be able to see young lads really, really commit and sacrifice, like, love it enough to commit and sacrifice? Because I think that's like 99% of it.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you there.
And you'd feel like it's worth it in the end to go and do that, yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely an exciting life.
Yeah.
I don't think it gets easier at any stage. Like,
Yeah.
the commitment and the pressure continues and continues. I'm hoping that, like, by the time you're 36 or whatever and you're totally sick of it and you can hopefully relax and look back and be like, oh, that was worth it, but it's tough. Because I haven't felt like it gets easier and easier and easier. But yeah, 100%. Like, no better life to be able to just kick a ball around and be with your lads like you were when you were 12 every day, because that's what it is at the end. It's football, isn't it?
Yeah, it's mad. I remember going to like a Chelsea game when I was like Chelsea and Villa. I was like 12, 13. I seen Lampard come out with a bag of balls and, you know, just ping the ball. I just
Just
like,
like
I'd
a
love
kid.
to be a footballer. Like,
It's
do you
just
know
like
what I
a
mean?
kid again, isn't it?
It's crazy. Like, yeah.
Happy
I don't know.
days,
Are you
yeah.
all good to move on to
You
the
have
salmon,
enough?
Jimmy? Yeah.
What?
So yeah. We'll explain it to you.
Yeah.
So we do at the end of the podcast, we do a thing called the Salmon of Knowledge.
You're the next Theo Vaughan.
So it's like just three questions.
Cool.
If you get it right, we've a pot at the moment. What's in the pot?
270.
So for every right answer, €5 goes into the pot. It's going towards a charity at the end of the year. Then
Quality.
so we've three questions for you. Three, isn't it? Yeah.
there's three.
Three or
Yep.
four. Three.
Oh, good, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Don't be worrying.
They're
Here.
grand, they're grand.
It's about
Calm,
yourself,
calm
so
down.
you should know them.
Should be okay.
Yeah, you hope so.
Yeah.
Do you want me to do the honours?
Yeah, go ahead. Walk away.
Sweet. So, first one we have here, Jimmy, is how many goals have you scored in senior football?
I'm going on like there's loads. Senior football includes conference football.
Yeah.
I believe so.
Senior appearances.
Okay.
So in your senior career. So so we're talking here from Burnley to QPR, including all
Trade
the
loans.
Barrow.
Yeah. Accrington Stanley.
None, actually, I don't think. Hearts, say 2.
This is real maths here, isn't it? Like the fingers are out.
Burnley. QPR. 6. I think it's maybe 14.
Very close, 13.
Yeah,
Well, maybe the internet's wrong, is it? Yeah.
my next one.
It's included already.
We'll give him that one. That was very good. I like the way he walked it out in front of us
one
as
I'm
well.
not thinking of.
It's counting the half-time show at Wembley or Sunderland.
Yeah.
And then to move on to the next one we have here, what was your first senior career appearance?
What was my first senior career appearance? Was for Barrow against Dagenham Redbridge.
Yeah. Sweet.
Unreal.
We get that.
It's actually hard
That's
question.
good. Good thinking back. And then we have a bit of a. This is a bit of an obscure one. I think Dean was hounding you for tickets there or sometime around that. Yeah.
Yeah.
He
So-
sent him to my house. He was like, "Are you coming over to a game, man?" I was like, "Jimmy, I'll be there. I'll see you there. I'll be in
What
Dublin
was it?
12."
What game was it? Is that what it is?
So last year you took, I think it was Dean Judd, who went
Two of
Cod
the
and
boys,
Jam, was
Cod
it?
and Jam as well. Yeah,
They were going over the United game, were you?
we're going to the EFL Cup
Final, was it?
United Newcastle on the Sunday. You were playing on the Saturday. We came into Loftus Road.
Yeah.
By the way, I was just saying, the fans love you. What's the story with your man Albert? Unks. Bring on Albert.
Were they?
The whole game, man. I was about to pull your man out of his seat.
Was the guy with the clicker there? Yeah.
It's just down in
So
front
you're
of
in
him.
the corner, yeah.
Do you get that, like the couple of local legends around the fans that the players know, like, and
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
There's a
there'll
couple
be a
of
few
real
characters.
die-hard fans that are like at the training ground or
Oh, yeah?
waiting for you after the game, like
give you a word of
just for a high
advice?
five. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's a few of them as well. Yeah.
We high five. That's deadly.
Yeah.
But so you took them to the game last year. Who was the game against? And there's bonus points if you remember the score.
Give him the fixture.
gotta be a
I think give him the
I
fixture
give him the
maybe
fixture?
and ask you for the score. I think that'd be,
So it was against Blackburn.
Did we get absolutely battered? Did we? I remember we got battered last year off, but was it 4-0?
3-1.
What planet am I on?
oh, you did actually get 4-0 as well.
Was that a
With
different game?
Blackburn, yeah, it was a different game.
So 7-1 in aggregate. So you
That was a
So
lot
there's
as well.
something- That charity's skint, like.
yeah.
I'll have to chuck a fiver in the box.
And we got one more for you here. So at the end of last season, you scored a sensational goal. We believe it was nominated for the goal of the month. Do you remember who that was against?
Birmingham City.
Never forget that one, will he?
I answered too quick, actually. I should have.
Led the crowd.
Pretended you couldn't remember.
But see, that one counted
Goal,
as
goal.
2. I think it was that good, Jimmy. That's why you're getting
14.
that.
Okay, so I'd like to first of all thanks Jimmy very much for coming on with us. He's a tight enough schedule, and it was late enough in the evening, so we really do appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for
And
having
a couple of the insights you've given us, and to hopefully young lads, and look, hopefully it takes one young lad off a PlayStation,
Yeah.
and it'll work wonders. So just on behalf of ourselves, we'd like to say thanks very much. We really appreciate it. Best luck for the season ahead, and maybe we've been talking of getting a trip away, so maybe we'll get to Loftus Road for a trip away.
Oh, please do,
Absolutely,
lads.
yeah.
Yeah, it'd be good
Once
crack.
it's not against Blackburn, we'll be
We'll
I'm
pick
injured for that
we'll
one.
pick the Birmingham City game.
no, we'll get Blackburn and we'll win this season, Jimmy. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks very much for having me, lads. Good crack.
Appreciate
Thanks
it.
very much.
Thanks,
Cheers.
Jimmy.
Thank
Cheers,
you.
boys. Thanks, man.
A superstar, then how